Okay, this is definitely a new angle. Hello, I am definitely lying down. I've just hit peak laziness and I'm now lying down to this video. I think it's a cool angle. I also don't know, I've been using this little tiny mirror to check the screen because I don't have a flip out screen. So I think I'm in frame and I think I'm in focus, but really, who knows? With starting university, I've obviously had to do a lot of new introductions. I've had to meet new people, try and explain why my accent sounds like the biggest mess up in the world, and generally explain life. You know, you're meeting people, you kind of have a bit of a debrief about who you are. I sat down and was just thinking about China and how much I legitimately miss it so much. China is something that, it was where I grew up. For me, that is where my formative years were spent, and I don't think I realised just how much I needed to appreciate where I was living until I left. I haven't really had a chat about China with you for a while, and you know what I do miss about it? I think the number one thing that I miss at the moment is the stories that you could tell. After every day, I would come home with some form of story. It's often quite minute, although there were days when it was crazily huge, but the stories you could tell from living out there were often insane. I used to love going shopping in China. That is a huge one, going shopping, because you would go underground and they were an amalgamation of colours and neon lights, and I mean, Fashion Lady was the pinnacle of fashion success in Nanjing. It was an underground market that was like a rabbit warren of shops, and if you turned one corner you would have no idea where you were, and you were in the middle of a food court at one moment and then you were not. And speaking of food courts, Fashion Lady's food court was brilliant. There were so many things and so many smells, and one day I went and I accidentally ate chicken hearts. There was always something happening. There was always buzz. You could be there on a Monday morning and there would be buzz down there. You could walk around the shopping mall and be greeted with looks of bewilderment that someone that's 6 foot tall and a redhead is wandering around, often with a giant camera. I'll give myself that. I was carrying around a giant camera, but eventually it became part and parcel of it. It was funny to get stared at because you did stare. I stood out like a sore thumb. Oh my gosh, the metro was always an adventure in cramming yourself into the smallest of spaces and lining up to get tickets and trying to navigate Shinjuku, which is the central part of Nanjing. And it was like a turnstile of madness. We had the Nanjing Wall, which was the city wall that encapsulated the city whenever it was going under siege or was in war. The wall is circled somewhat around Xuanbu Lake, which is a giant and, again, buzzing lake that's in the middle of the city. There's always someone selling something or singing or writing characters in water as they slowly faded away on the pavement. And recently I went to Beijing on a layover and the sun set over these 4 people playing what I could only describe as hacky sack in the square by the drum and bell towers, and it's just this sight of happiness. There was always something fun seemingly going on, and no matter the language barrier, which was obviously incredibly huge, there was a level of, okay, misunderstanding, but I feel like for every one time things went wrong, there were 70 times that things went weirdly okay. I don't think I could possibly ask for anything more from my upbringing, and if I had to take away one thing from living in China, it was purely to just go for it, no matter what it was. Whether it was trying to figure out how to say something in Chinese and failing miserably often, or to go down that street on the moped and explore, or to find yourself completely and utterly lost in the middle of Beijing, jet-lagged more than anything, in the middle of a hutong, and just to let it wash over you, because essentially all you're gonna get is some great stories at the end of it. Oh, and I should probably add, hi, if you are new to the channel, I'm Erica, and I grew up in China.